Hello everyone, this is my reaction to last Friday's Star Citizen Live Ask the Devs vehicle gameplay. This is not a summary, I only talk about things I find very interesting.
For instance, is there going to be a way or a method to unflip vehicles that have been put upside down or on their sides like a wrench or something?
The answer is yes. So we'd like to use the tractor beams to move the vehicles over, but we've basically just moved the ground vehicles to a new set of physics. And basically this has meant the old system we had to correct them back on the wheels doesn't work anymore because it's a completely new set of physics. But we do definitely have plans to be able to use the in-game tools to rewrite the vehicles because it makes no sense to be able to stick in the middle of nowhere and have nowhere, to create a vehicle back on the wheels.
I like this, CRG is working on mechanics so we can get our vehicles back on the wheels. Right now the magic hand still works for me on 3.20 PTU, so I don't know why he said it doesn't work anymore.
Are there plans to change the way ground vehicles accelerate under analog controls?
Yes.
What's holding up something like the Ranger?
So we had quite old physics with our old ground vehicles and they hadn't really been touched for a long time. So we had to go in there, figure out what needed to be changed.
Yeah, I thought so. Physics in Star Citizen are very old and not many games are doing motorcycle driving physics right.
Are we going to get better lights on ships?
So yes, we are going to get better lights. And that's something the team's currently working on. It's just a lot of work to go through all the ships in the game basically to do this.
Will ground vehicles run on fuel, hydrogen or otherwise, be battery powered or vary depending on the vehicle?
Yeah, so we basically moved the ground vehicles to new physics vehicles already, and that's our first step to really improving the ground vehicles up to the same specifications as ships. So, our next kind of ground vehicles V2, as we kind of call it, that would mean the ships run on fuel, they've got a power plant, they have a cooler, and it all works just like the ships.
Of course, vehicles shouldn't have unlimited fuel, but I hope it won't be too tedious. Please, CRG, don't make it very tedious, very short range. If ground vehicles would have an average range of say 300-400 kilometers, this would not be tedious. Not many of us are driving 400 kilometers in a play session. I fear CRG will make it like 10-15 kilometers.
Any plans to have a more accurate terrain physics?
Yes. So at the moment we have kind of our base terrain, so we kind of generalize it that it's a mix between kind of high grip gravel probably, but with this brand new model we've got the ability to kind of change the tire curve a little bit, so we can model driving on ice, you can model driving on tarmac, but we've got to build a system where the tire model communicates with the game.
Why is the center of mass on the Nova so high over the ground? As in, why does it tip over so easily? Shouldn't the tank be next to impossible to tip?
The tank has a lot of mass, and the mass is actually quite low on the tank. But
not according to this person.
Yeah, well, it is physically, but one of the problems that you have in physics is, so in real life, there's a lot of dampening with kind of collisions because you're hitting terrain, you're hitting objects that move, and the collision inner kind of output kind of varies a lot, whereas in a physics simulation, you can have quite high spikes of collisions because it's two interconnecting solid objects. And we need to do a lot of work on how the ground vehicles feel and interact because that's not how real life collisions happen, but that is the output of the physics engine. And basically that causes the vehicle to react in a way what makes it look like it doesn't weigh very much, or it gives you a really high impulse so the vehicle can roll over. And it isn't that it doesn't weigh very much or the center of mass is too high, it's just the collision impulse is so high that it's got the force to kind of tip the vehicle over. But that's definitely something we're working on.
Well, this is something I'm very interested in. First, Nova tank is as big as a house. It's much bigger than a World War II super heavy mouse, which was a very terrible idea. Second, all vehicles tip over very easily, not just Nova tank. Third, I don't believe that ships, vehicles and wrecks have mass. You can push them around easily, you can flip them and you can change vectors easily. If this is just about collision, okay, I can accept this, but for everyone who's playing this game, this looks like ships, vehicles and wrecks have no mass simulation.
Will there be any more changes to hover vehicles to help stop them from exploding so easily?
When was it now? Like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I think it was, maybe?
Yeah.
And that really increased the speed of the hover bikes on the ground. So before they were quite limited. I think you could go like 68 meters per second, like max, I think, with the old ones. But then we made it so you could go really quick with the new ones. But obviously that means you can hit a rock, and if you're traveling at that speed, you hit a rock, it's quite an impact. But we can definitely improve that from our side. And also we can improve the levels as well. So we can instruct the players more like where to kind of ride these things.
Okay, this was a strange quote-unquote answer. Looks like he isn't too much into Kraflev, which I don't blame him for, but this doesn't tell us anything. We got a Kraflev rework in 3.16. Many people praised it. I didn't. John Pritchard's 3.1.4 Kraflev was close to perfect. Then came 3.5 new flight model. Kraflev was trashed, and John Pritchard had to leave CIG. Today, Kraflev is still not anywhere back to the fun we had in 3.1.4.
I can't remember if the current one is just like it sees a thing in front of it and it slows down, or it tries to like ride over it. It's one or both, I forget exactly. But there's a bunch of things that we tried to help the problem when we initially did that remake.
I feel sorry for those two guys, because Kraflev is not something they have worked on. This would be more a question for David. But the current Kraflev is neither slowing down, nor does it try to avoid obstacles. This is what John Pritchard's 3.1.4 Kraflev did. It used to look ahead and made slight adjustments on its own. One of the reasons why this was so much fun.
What do you think of the Gladiator? Any chance the Gladiator can get some love? I mean, is the Gladiator perfect right now? Are you happy with the Gladiator? Does its bomb bay doors need some work?
See what we can improve on it. So, because it definitely can fly better in atmosphere. Its atmosphere flight's a little bit bad right now.
It's got those great atmospheric wings that go like this.
Yeah, and we did some changes to the way the we did some changes to Fury, and that had an impact on some of the ships in the game. And unfortunately, Gladiator was one of those ships that it's kind of impacted. So I'm taking a look at that now of what we can kind of move, to basically improve it, because it's got the mavs that move at the top of the ship, and
Oh yeah,
those
that was to support the Fury 180 thrusters that needed a rewrite of some of the thruster rotation code, and so that had some unintended consequences in all the ships that have rotating thrusters.
Again, I'm feeling sorry for those two guys. They obviously never worked on Gladiator. The story state of Gladiator is not their fault. Gladiator is way too sluggish since 3.0, but that's only one of her problems. She is also losing her hatches way too easily, and then she can lose her size 5 torpedoes. In 3.1, CIG took away pilot control over the turret guns. It would be a real waste to have a dedicated turret gunner in a Gladiator. In 3.14, Gladiator got a huge buff to structure HPs for reasons unknown, but it doesn't even help. She is already shutting down no restart when hit by 2 size 3 missiles. Gladiator is in such a sorry state. Go to the universe, spawn a Gladiator. People will ask you, is this a new ship? Because they have never seen a Gladiator before. One reason I hardly ever watch Star Citizen live is I never get the impression this is a well-oiled machine. CIG knows what they are doing. CIG has clear plans. Instead, I always get the impression here you have 2 to 4 guys. They want to make a space game. They are just starting brainstorming, throwing out ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. And now we have Flicker self-destructing a hoverboard at the caterpillar. Let's see if the caterpillar gets destroyed. Okay, Flicker, it's your show. I hope that Flicker can make it.
Self-destruct activated.
I hope that Flicker can make it. Okay, I can I can catch up to the caterpillar. Okay, I see a landing gear. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.